right, welcome to Sidebar. We are getting towards the point end of the season, and we have got some games to talk about today. We have got the Trios final that happened on stream. If you caught it, you'll know what the match result was. But for those that don't, we will keep it a little secret. We will be talking about that. We'll also be talking about Wild Series semi-finals. So with me tonight, my usual guest co-hosts, Reverb, welcome.
Yippee! I love finals. I love that I'm playing a final for the first time. It is the best part of the THL season.
Yes, yes. We might mention a little bit that, but not too much. Not too much. We've got her center on later tonight, and they'll be talking all the standard series with the semi-finals in those series. Oddlaw, how are you doing this final
Hello.
evening?
Glad to be back. It's definitely the pointy end, given this is our final sidebar of the season. So I'm pretty excited to rip into these finals and talk about what's been going on in the world of THL.
Yes, Reverb did touch base a little about finals. Now, we won't have too many spoilers. We don't want any spoilers going on with her center covering all of the things. We won't say too much. Maybe we will mention the three of us are a little excited about Pro. But really the only people that should be talking about Pro are the ones that won their match last week. So those that didn't win their match last week, THL jail. A little disappointing. It's a little disappointing. Yeah. Unfortunate. When you captain a team and you're forced to play and you have to win, that's not what THL is about. You're meant to carry me to a title. You're meant to carry me. That's how it works. I didn't tell you. You're both on mute at the moment as well. I had to mute you as well.
Oh.
All right, we'll bring you back out. We'll bring you back out of jail. We'll bring you back out of jail. It's not all doom and gloom. That's enough of the spoilers, so we won't go into too many spoilers. But yeah, we are looking forward to a match next week. Her center will tell you a little bit more about semi-finals in the standard series. But what I want to talk about first up is Trios. Trios final, season 1 of Trios. We had the Alpha or Beta something season last season. So this is the first season, which is actually the second season, but it's season 1 of Trios. We had one match to cover, just the one match. And we had some predictions last week. Now, if I remember rightly, who was it? Revo, were you on the one amalgam band? Do you remember which team you were both on?
I think I said one amalgam, and then because Wagoy had the best record.
That's right.
Oddlaw went with them.
But you went with the one amalgam, and then Oddlaw was like, thankfully, that's good because you wanted to go with Swagoy. Swagoy had the best record that only lost once all season, which was to the one amalgam band, who had lost twice. So the semi-finals, if we remember rightly, the two semi-finals results were rematches, and the same team won, as had done during the season. So although Swagoy had the best record, the one amalgam band had beaten them once during the season. Could Swagoy turn the tables, or did the one amalgam band get the double and the title? So, as we always do, we're going to run through the match. Oddlaw, you're on the left here. You're Swagoy. Reverb, you're the one amalgam band. You're across the top there. Oddlaw, what's your band here? I'm probably guessing I know what it is, but tell us your band. What are you expecting the band to be the other way, and how are you going to approach this match? How are you going to get the win here and the title? The yellow name in the THL Discord. That's what we're all going for. Go for gold.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna miss pseudo playing against Reverb every week. I'm also gonna miss banning Brown yet again. Can't wait to see that redacted come off and see what I'm expecting to be double Browns, because I am getting rid of Ramp Druid. Surprise, surprise. And looking at the rest of the classes, we've got a couple of mirrors. The differences in Rage Warrior versus Arcane Hunter, both pretty solid brings as well. I'm feeling pretty good about having a Rage Warrior in this situation though.
Yep. Okay, and Rage Warrior looking good. Reverb, how do you see it the other way? What's your edge here?
My edge is that I keep seeing everyone bring it, but is it bait mage? Am I just gonna sweep bait mage? They're not 40 mage lists, are they? They're just 30 ones.
I think they're 30s. I will have a look while you're talking.
Because someone had a theory one time that the 40 mage list helps you into druid. Not that matters, because I'm probably banning it. But if my beloved 1L Malcolm band decided to bring 40 rainbow mage, there is an angle in which I'm banning secret rogue instead, because my lists are slightly teched to beat the druid rather than the rogue.
Yeah,
if that is not the case,
they're both 30 mage. Both 30 mage.
Bye druid then. That's probably getting banned pretty quickly. And then yeah, it looks like I have decent matchups into mage and slightly in Rage Warrior. And Rage Warrior is a very funny deck. When it draws well and it's played well, it seems fantastic. But if you whiff on proccing an Acolyte enough and you don't get more draw, then you're just sitting on like 3 cards in your hand drawing for turn, and it feels terrible. So I can potentially kind of semi-scam those matchups and hopefully get what I'm predicting as a 3-2 win for the 1L Malcolm band.
All right. Well, we'll see what the bans were. So, Druid and Druid. Okay, now that changes everything. Changes everything. All right, so Oddlaw confident with Enrage Warrior. That's looking pretty sweet, and then it's just a matter of getting the wins elsewhere. Reverb says that the Reverb card is bait. Reverb can't win. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that lately. So yeah, let's have a look at how this played out. I think it'll be pretty close. Both the semi-finals were 3-2, so let's have a look and see what happened in the final and who was crowned our Season 1 champions of Trio Series. All right, we led with Enrage Warrior. Swagoi did not get over the Hunter in the favoured matchup. Then we switched to Secret Rogue, and now that the Hunter's gone, makes sense. It lost the mirror, so we're down 0-2. We have to get a sweep over the Mage, so we go on Rage Warrior with the 60%. Got that one through. Yep, no problem. Doesn't really matter what you queue from here on in, because you need to win with both of them. So they went the mirror and didn't quite get there. So 3-1 win to the 1L Amalgam Band. They back up their win during the season with another win over Swagoi. Swagoi's only 2 losses of the season to the 1L Amalgam Band. And our champions for Season 1 of Trio Series, therefore, are Copa, Hustle, and Nice Jewish Owl, the 1L Amalgam Band. Congratulations.
This means I was correct, and I'm insane. I'm giga-brained.
Take anything you can. Like this is the caster privilege. Whatever takes I have, the ones that I get right are the ones that I got correct. The other ones are just spicy takes.
Exactly.
It's there for the content.
The Trio team.
It's all for the content. But the ones that I got right, I'll claim them. So yeah, great win, great season. The 1 Amalgam Band. Congratulations on the title. I believe this is Hustle's first THL title. And I think I also heard that Nice Jewish Owl, this is his first standard THL title, I think. And then Copa, I don't know if Copa's won before. Maybe Copa won on EU. He maybe won an EU season. It might be his first NA series standard title or something. But yeah, so some firsts there. Nice to see some teams that haven't won before getting a win. Hopefully that's an omen potentially for at least a couple of other series I can think of. But yeah, we've got the teams here. This is the final standings through the season. So obviously the two finalists are at the top there. The one Amalgam Band at the top, over Swagoy. The semi-finalists listed there underneath. And then the quarter-finalists, per se, W Gang and Brandon Esports. So yeah, trios will be back next season. Get your team together now. Captain's applications are still... we're still looking for captains. You can still get them in by the end of the week before the season finishes, and then there'll be some announcements coming out soon about captaincy and how many teams we're going to have in each series and some recruitment. So if you don't already have a trios team, you are interested in playing trios next season, yeah, just put in a captain application. If you haven't got a couple of friends, you can post in free agency once the captains are announced, and then get them. Or maybe trios, you need to register the whole team. But anyway, if you are interested in playing trios, get your application in. The more teams, the merrier, and the more teams we get into playoffs then. More content for us to talk about. That's the main thing. Reverb Oldlaw, did you have anything you want to add about trios this season? How have you found the series and talking about it on the show?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really interesting since we started doing the banning and looking through lineups and seeing how we're playing it, to see especially the variants that teams have and kind of the differences that having three people playing one kind of match make. It's obviously Reverb and I have different ideas sometimes, but I feel like we've done pretty well at tracking what's been going on, and it's been a really close and exciting series to follow around. So pretty hyped on how everyone's played this season. Obviously, congratulations to 1 out. It's always good to have a solid win, especially when you're technically the underdog.
Reverb?
Yeah, basically ditto what Oddlaw said. The format we've been doing, like analyzing, has been really good, and I think showing, especially something like the queue order, I think going through the queue order and how playing out like the matches post bans is been really good to see how different teams will like try and navigate that through. I know like we've even had small discussions, like some people in chat have been like, well, it doesn't matter if you queue the favors first because you have to win with all three to do the reverse sweep. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, but what if you queue the 2 favors and then get them tilted and win the game 5 off of that kind of thing? So it's been good to see, and I've liked it a lot.
Alrighty. From here, we've got Wild Series to talk about. We had a couple of semi-finals last week. Jump over there. Wild now back. We don't have a player of the week like we usually do. No player of the week in the playoffs. But we do have both semi-finals. Now, we didn't have the... I will say, we didn't have the matches from last week up on the website. I'm just checking to see if they're there now, but haven't been put on yet with the rollover. So I was able to get the matches out of the... scouting page and throw something together. So we'll move over to there. All right. So I managed to throw something together. It's a little bit different. Looks a little bit different than normal. But I assure you all the relevant information apart from one team's decks that banned. Don't worry about those. Don't worry about the bans. We're just interested in the results here. All right. So we had 2 semi-finals. We had a bit of APM on APM action. Avoid punitive measures versus a placid monkey. And then we had F12 Viridian versus Sleepyhead Shakers. We'll have a look at the APM versus APM semi-final first. Now, should I throw to Oddlaw? You didn't play Oddlaw, so can you tell us what happened in the other three matches that are there?
I would love to. Yes, my team had a bit of a tumultuous run into playoffs, and then the tumultuous nature of it continued in the actual playoff match. A couple of close matches to start off the week. It was looking optimistic, but after avoid punitive measures gave us kind of a ride back to reality, we pretty quickly realized that they were the better team. Really happy with how my team played despite everything. And yeah, it doesn't show on there, but Lamp got a nice 3-1 as well. So it was closer than it seems, maybe. And who knows, if I played my match, maybe it would look even closer, depending on the result. But across the boards, pretty interesting brings from you guys as well. Maxi's lineup is very good, apparently. And yeah, pretty happy if we're going to lose to another APM team, if I'm honest. So yeah, I'm hoping for the best to the final for you guys.
Yeah, there's a bit of disappointment. I know there's a few people that were hoping that teams were going to be in different semis and potentially get both teams through to the final. We ended up having to play each other. So the first two matches played was Rebob and Stinsy's matches, which were both 3-2, and I know at least Rebob was down 2-1. I'm not sure exactly the way Stinsy's went, but it was a really close match, and both of those could have gone either way. And like you said, I think slight Lamp ring game when Maxi's result came through, and then Lamp ended up going on to win that one, but it's not on the results there. So yeah, if one of those other two had gone the other way, it would have come down to the fifth match, and sometimes it's just you just need one little result to go one way or the other, and you can get yourself through a week. A lot of these matches are really close. A lot of game fives that can just go either way. Revo, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Revo?
No, I feel like you two definitely are the better ones to talk on that specific matchup more than me.
All right, well, I'll get you to talk us through the other semi-final then. We've got F12 Viridian versus Sleepyhead Shakers. The results there are for F2L win and loss. So win one is the left is F2L winning, and then the lost, so that would be Tiger Eye over Wombat. So talk us through those matches. Just for reference, F12 Viridian had faced Sleepyhead Shakers in the final round of the regular season, and Sleepyhead Shakers had taken a 15-14 win in that match. So this was an instant rematch the week after, with Sleepyhead Shakers having that slight edge going into this week.
And it seems like F2L got their revenge with... sometimes you brew up something good, and that's the trio of Questline, Druid, Quest Mage, and Giant Rogue, and then just playing whatever fourth deck you want. And it seems to have worked well, because Lasagna, KVLT, and Marty B all got wins, being a 3-1 and then 2 3-2s to get them far enough ahead to win by the looks of it. Tiger Eye was able to get a win in his game, 3-1 over Mortal Wombat, and then I'm assuming Memnarch and Reno Jackson decided to no contest it. So unfortunate for Sleepyhead that they couldn't repeat the success of the week literally just before, but good seasons from both, and hopefully it's a good final as well.
Yeah, so F12 Viridian in another final. What is this? Is this season 9 of THL? Is that right? Is it season 9? Wild?
A while?
I think it's season 9.
It's been a fair few.
Yeah, season 9. So this is F12 Viridian's... season 10. My mistake. Wild season 10. So F12 Viridian have been in every final since season one. They've either won it or they've finished runner up. So they've been in every final. And this will be APM's first final. So what I can deduct from that is that APM have never lost a final in Wild, and F12 Viridian have lost half of theirs. So
this is good analysis.
Yes, good. This is all stats.
It's stats. Like you can make anything up with stats. 80% of people will tell you that. But we will have a look at the final. I've got a little graphic here I threw together this afternoon or this evening for the Wild final. So this is our Wild final here. Next week, we've avoided punitive measures. We've got the APM logo back up now. We managed to make the final this season. We didn't slip up in the semi. We've got our match against F12 Viridian that we were hoping to get. And now we've just got to put up and hopefully get the win. Stop F12 from continuing on their mega run that they seem to do season after season after season. Also, as per the graphic there, can Rebob win or will F2L win? That is the question. Can he? I can tell you one thing. If we do manage to win the final, the championship banner is going to be pretty good. I've got some ideas. Mainly revolves around Rebob and an F2L and an APM logo, but we've got to get there first. So, best of luck to both teams this week in the Wild final. We've got some card changes as well, just to change things up and make it a little bit more unpredictable, and see where teams fall with their deck building. Completely unbiased opinions here. Do we have any predictions for the Wild Series final? I'll go with you first, Oddlaw. Completely unbiased.
I'll be unbiased, don't worry. After all the unbiased stats that have come out, I will definitely remain unbiased as well. Let's look at this. So,
if you want, you can analyze the individual matchups as well, if that helps
that's
you.
That's what I was thinking of doing. So KVLT and Maxi, both very good, high on the ladder Wild players. Maxi obviously his pedigree is insane. He's a cracked player. However, KVLT has been grinding like crazy. So I think that matchup would be closer than it seems. And they're both on insane records for the season. I'm going to give KVLT the edge in that matchup. Sorry, Masha. Lasagna is an enigma that, you know what? He's so good. He's so mysterious. He's so budget. He's everything I love. He's aggro. I'm going to give Lasagna the edge as well. So that's 2-0 FTL Viridian. Squirrel, I didn't play him this week in Fear. I think he'll take it over Marty B. I think it'll be a 3-0. So that's 2-1 to APM. Oh. Rebob, I think he's got determination to win a championship, and that will carry him through no matter the matchup that he comes up against. So I think he'll 3-0 as well. And then it'll come down to Memnarch versus Slight. Now, Slight isn't having the best season. I don't know if you can agree with that, but the stats do say that, Masha. And I know you love stats. So Slight will have to... Basically, what I'm saying is, for APM to win, Slight will have to pull something out of the bag and bring you guys home in a really close series. That's my prediction. It's APM to take it. Slight's going to do it. Let's go.
No pressure, Slight. No pressure. All right, Reverb, what's your take here?
I feel like Maxi can definitely beat KVLT. I think Maxi is scarily insane at the game. Having been on a team with Maxi, there's times that Maxi just posts what seems to be like the worst 4 deck lists I've ever seen in my life. And then an hour later he messages in the chat, 3-0 win. And you go, how? How and why and what? you have just unfavorables, and you've bought the wackiest stuff I've seen with like some real interesting choices, and he's just swept someone off the face of the earth. So I feel like that, like, I don't know, the matchups just seem really close. The records on both teams are pretty insane, like 6-1, 6-1, 5-1, 4-1, matching up into also 6-1, 6-1, but then 4-3, 3-3. Like, it definitely seems like a tight one that can go either way. It just really depends on how well you can play the Giants Rogue Mirror for the 30th time.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I won't offer my tip. I think we all know which team I'm hoping gets up, but yeah, hopefully it's a good week. Everyone gets their matches played, and yeah, may the best team win. Best of luck to both teams this weekend in Wild Series final, as well as the other teams playing in Pro, Hero, and Legacy Series, which Hearth Center will be covering a little bit later with those matches, so we won't offer any spoilers there. We don't have a lot of content to cover tonight. We've covered off our Wild semi-finals leading into the final. We've covered off our trios champions for this season. I was hoping to put together a few games and things, but unfortunately, I didn't have much time to put anything together. What we can do is we can go back to the opening screen and let's talk card changes. We've got some card changes.
Yes, definitely some card changes.
No spoilers here. No spoilers here with the card changes. We'll get rid of the spoiler alert there. All right, card changes. Tony. Is Tony dead? First question. Is Tony dead? Are there any decks it gets played in now?
That's a
Hell no.
free first question. It's very free 1600 dust for everyone if they haven't already dusted it. It's about as useless as you can get. That's what I will say.
Are there any decks at all? What about Wild Questline Demon Hunter? So you play your Questline. Questline Demon Hunter, get your brutes out, and then dump Tony and copy the opponent's deck. Gives you a secondary game plan. Do we run it in there?
Maybe if you're playing against Kingsbane and you haven't died on 6 already in the unfavored matchup, then maybe you copy their Kingsbane and kill them in the 1 in 100 situation that happens. But other than that, Tony is he's sitting in dust jail rather than THL jail. He's gone, man.
Speaking of jail, the jailer.
The freest of dust.
How do we like the jailer nerf? Jailer still playable? Destroy your own deck. Only that minion becomes immune.
Jailer. The jailer has become like maybe one of the worst cards in the game. I think it was what's old mate's name? Zeddy posted a thing in which it was like that office meme, and it's like, compare Warsong and Jailer, but they're the same picture. That is true. That nerf is basically the same as the original Warsong nerf. The card is just awful now.
Right, so Tony dead. Jailer, Oddlaw, you agree?
Well, you know what? He is buffed for like if you wanted to play Yes Paladin or something, and you play Jailer as the top end. Because then it kind of speeds up the, you could play that card that draws a minion that makes it cost 5 or lens or something, and then you can play Jailer, and then you can turbo your Yes. So maybe that's the buff.
Yeah, let me just mod this. There we go. I had to mod that.
Maybe if they print a card that forces your opponent to play the card that has the text "the Jailer" as the title of the card, then maybe it's got a buff.
The Jailer would still be playable if Tony still swapped decks, but it doesn't. So Like, the only good part of text on this card is potentially the words destroy your deck, assuming that you've swapped decks and you're actually destroying your opponents. But a 10 mana destroy every single other card you own just to get a 10/10 that in theory doesn't die but still does to certain board clears is just the worst card I've ever read.
Okay, so they killed Tony, they killed the jailer. What else did they kill?
I think they nerfed
everything.
Rake. They nerfed Rake by a mana, but
Rake?
You know what? Maybe this isn't death. This isn't death.
That Rake change is nice for Wild.
Yeah,
mind you,
it's just.
mind you, I mean, there's still like with the changes to those other cards for Wild. There's still like there is still some things you can play in Wild for Druids. Like it's not like completely the death of Druid.
Not ever.
Can you still play Tog? Probably. Do we go back to Tog?
You can still play Quest Druid. Quest Druid was fine without the Yogg, which we'll talk about in a sec. And Rake at 2 is not death. It's still insane for Quest Druid because it just means that if you have a situation where you'd be floating 1 mana, you're doing that less often. If you have a situation where you're playing Rake early against aggro, you're doing that less often. But as a card, it's still very good for that deck.
I know there's some Pirate Rogue players that are happy that Rake isn't coming out on 1 anymore.
Yes, as an aggro player, I'm super happy about Rake being nerfed. But as a Quest Druid player, like I played the deck as well, and I'm sure the Quest Druid will still be really good. It's especially with everything else getting nerfed. I think Rake is still gonna be around. I wouldn't get that 100 dust just yet.
All right, so Quest Druid still a good deck, not as powerful, not as meaty as it was before. Has maybe lost a couple of tools or a little bit slow, but still a good deck. We did say we'd get to Yogg. Thoughts on Yogg, Oddlaw?
Oh boy. Well, he's gone back to being just another Yogg. He had his time in the limelight, and now I think he's just like every other girl. He's just that card you put in a meme deck because you want to play 6 Yoggs or 5 Yoggs or however many Yoggs there are now, and the 2 spells is nice, I guess, but looking at the tendrils, I mean, we've seen what random spells are. Like, the 2 spells means nothing, so basically playing 9 mana to do a very mediocre play and get a 7/5, which will die to probably a 2 or 3 mana card, and it's pretty dead.
Probably die to itself after it casts Fireball at itself.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is both of you will be playing Yogg straight after the patch, so that you can get a clip to put on Twitter, X. So to say that the card's not dead, it's still OP because it did this. Yeah, so the one in 100 games it actually did something at 1 with the 2 random spells.
Like, actually, if you play Yogg and then you get like a generation spell and you generate Jailer, and then you get a Jailer for the turn after because Yogg's 9 mana, and you play your Jailer on 10, and then you can play your Tony and copy your opponent's deck, and then you get better cards than the garbage that you're putting in your deck. Then maybe.
You know the one change that they could do that could make all of this undone or make it all playable again. The cards that say Battlecry, discover a card from the past. That should be discovering unnerfed cards. Whoa. So a card from rather than a card from the past, like it's nerfed condition. A card from the past. It discovers discover a card from the past. Discover unnerfed Tony. Discover unnerfed Jailer. Discover unnerfed anything. Barnes. It probably doesn't fit your deck.
Now we're talking. You can discover unnerfed patches, and then you can have charge.
Yes.
With the text included. Oh.
Only if discover unnerfed card and shuffle it into your deck, so that way patches is in your deck, and generate
I'm in charge,
and put a 1 mana pirate in your hand. Yeah,
beautiful.
That's what we need. But no, for real, like if they want to buff Toki, buff Toki, and the other discover a card from the past cards for wild. Just discover an unnerfed card. That's what we want. Maybe we can have like they could put out something among the Hearthstone community, and everyone can vote which 20 cards do we want to have in the card pool? Which 20 unnerfed cards do we want to have in the Toki card pool? And then like it's not too random. Then like you're getting some spicy cards, and they might get played. Then, maybe they could have that as like a
gross stuff.
A monthly event. You know how like some like that time when they brought back a heap of wild cards into standard at the end of each month, and that do some wacky things like that.
Everyone really liked that format, and there were no problems at all.
They could have a Time Tinker event, and then Toki's card pool is changed to these 20 unnerfed cards, or 10 or 5, however many you want, and have like busted cards, and just say like in wild you have to run, you can't queue wild unless you have Toki in your deck, or something, just for a month, maybe even a week.
Yeah. People love that. I know that they did this event in the past where at the start of each game there was a random effect that was going to influence the match, and everyone was a massive fan of that. So I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. And this way you get to play something fun. And they could get the community involved in it by voting beforehand. So you get some input into it.
Yes, it sounds competitive. That's what it sounds to me.
But no, like, if I want a card from the past, I want the unnerfed version.
It's true.
Definitely.
I mean, if you're willing to sacrifice your deck enough to put a card like that in, maybe you should get rewarded by getting a chance at the unnerfed versions of cards. It's actually a good point.
Yeah. Managed to fill in like 10 minutes of time there. Got past the half hour. It's really good. What time did we start? We started a little bit early. We didn't started close to 11, so we managed to fill in half an hour.
Well.
All right, so Yog not good anymore. Does it get played in anything? Do we still think it gets chucked in?
No,
it's not a 30th in anything.
It's been...
I love the optimism.
God,
we're not playing it in like. Am I putting it in my Warlock deck that's draw your highest card and reduce its draw a card and reduce its cost?
No, because
it's not highest anymore. No, I know, but if Yog's in there, I can still draw Yog as a chance. Like Yog will come if Yog's in my deck, and I play Symphony to draw a card. You're guaranteed if Yog can get out of Yog jail. Like we've already seen what Yog can do this expansion. If Yog's in my deck, Yog will get out, and Yog will come. I believe. I believe in Yog.
I have been wanting to play Clown Paladin again, and maybe I just sub out the clowns for Yog, and then I lens my Yog, and then, then I'm playing Yog on 5 or something, and then game changer.
Yeah.
Clearing our opponent's board and generating tentacles. Well, actually, the saddest part of all is that we're no longer getting tentacles. No more tendies. So that's unfortunate. Kind of the biggest casualty of this whole thing.
Yeah. I did notice when they put the green little outline or the red outline that the changing it from 15 to 9 mana was considered a nerf. Like usually, so in other times, like they've had situations where something has actually gone up or down in value, and it's actually like they've put it like the other way, where it's like, oh, it's a buff, but it's actually not a buff. It's actually a nerf in certain situations. But clearly, this is a nerf because who's ever paid any more than maybe 1 or 2 to play Yog? Not many scenarios. Like you have to be in a pretty bad situation, game state, to pay like 6 or 7 or something. Potentially you could be, but like most times you get it out pretty cheap. So definitely less than 9. Definitely.
Or way less than that. This change is like so big for Secret Rogue. Half of the game plan of that deck, I swear, was playing 3 Yogs and just stopping your opponent from playing the game. Like, they put a minion on board, okay, it's mine now, I steal it now, I bounce my Yog. If you play another minion, I will steal it again. Like,
I will not miss...
It's crazy.
I will not miss the Yog stealing Yog into whatever, and then you've got 3 Yogs on the other side.
And then it's just...
If I
I know
play
that.
if I play my Yogg and I clear your opponent's minions, I guaranteed the next turn my Yogg gets stolen. Like, it's just
Pretty much.
that's pretty much. Yeah.
I've never seen them do a 9 mana nerf on a card until I saw the patch notes.
All right, so we've covered the changes. How do we think? We won't go into too much detail because we've got a match to play this week. It's a pretty important one. Whoops. Yep, we do have a match to play this week. Yeah, we won't talk too much about things, but just what do we think is one class that comes out as a winner, one class that comes out as a loser with these changes? I will leave Druid out of it because clearly Ramp Druid's going to be suffering a little bit. But which class do we think might benefit a little bit, and which class do we think might suffer a little bit with these changes? Reverb.
This difficult. I feel like I know I just said Rogue is very sad to lose Yogg like this. However, Rogue has a lot of good decks. I would not be surprised if Miracle is fine without Yogg. Not every deck has Yogg, therefore you can't really complain that you don't have Yogg. Secret Rogue, I think, might just completely drop off the face of the earth, but I think Miracle will still be fine, and so will Mech. I don't know about, like, I have a theory. Death Knight is very sad about these changes because its existence is to sometimes maybe counter Druid, and Druid is about to be dead. So you, what is your goal in life now? You don't have Yogg to use yourself in like your slow blood Death Knight or something, and you can no longer counter Druid with plagues. So I feel like Death Knight might be a little sad. Rogue might be a little happy. Paladin will also maybe be happy that it's no longer getting every single card it plays stolen.
All right, Outlaw, what do you reckon? What's the a winner and a loser?
Yeah,
Just
I mean, I might
thoughts.
do a wild take on it.
Yep.
Because we have the wild final coming, and I think it's actually pretty huge for wild, right? It's kind of meta defining. I think Miracle Rogue is the clearest loser, right? Like, losing Yogg in Miracle Rogue is like losing one of its most important cards against most of its matchups. So I think the biggest loser for wild is definitely Rogue. A little bit in standard as well, but obviously, with Druid dead, Secret Rogue's looking pretty spicy. And then the biggest winner is pretty much all the board-based aggro decks in wild. Like, even Shaman is now looking terrifyingly good with Druid a bit nerfed, Mage a lot. Rogue a lot nerfed. Like, even Shaman's just been sitting there waiting for its moment to just show you what a big board of totems looks like, and then shove them all in your face. So I think even Shaman and stuff like Pirate Rogue and Odd Paladin, all these things that were getting played a little bit and then losing to Yogg, are now just going to be in full force coming into the wild final and coming into wild ladder. So that's probably my predictions for sure.
Yeah, because you these aggro decks, you get to like turn 4, turn 5, and you go, yes, I've got my big board, I've built a board, and then Yogg comes down and clears everything.
Exactly.
And then, okay, I put a couple more things on the board. Oh, look, Yogg can steal one of them. And they get to play stuff as well. And then you're sad. But yeah, I think like what you said as well with Miracle Rogue, it's kind of like, when Pillager Rogue lost Pillager. So like that's most of your games, like getting all those spells played out, and then you've got 3 Yoggs or however many Yoggs you get, 5 Yoggs or 6 Yoggs, and then that was your game plan. You can't just rely on Edwin. That's as much as you can get a good Edwin out. Mind you, Pillager's still playable. It's got a different Pillager now. It's got Alex, and it's a bit more of a setup. But it still has something. It's not great. It's a deck though. It's definitely a deck. I don't think Miracle Rogue's a deck anymore.
We'll see. I mean, it might just go back to the obscurity it was pre-patch, where random people would post like these like top 10 results with Miracle Rogue, and everyone's like, how? There's no way. But in terms of mainstream meta, I think most people stop playing it, and we'll get back to more Reno decks on ladder versus aggro decks on ladder. Kind of a throwback.
Yeah, I think if I was going to play a rogue deck, I probably wouldn't be playing Miracle. I'd probably, like, I might even see more people play Mine Rogue. It can deal some big damage on its go turn, like on its combo turn.
Turn 5, yeah.
So might see some uptake there, but yeah, will be interesting to see what the meta shakes up to, because as we saw with the decks that we've been showing on the wild coverage on Sidebar, we've been begging people to play some stuff that's not Questline Druid, Miracle Giants Rogue, and Quest Mage, and even Warrior, and like it's the same 5 decks pretty much all season, at least the second half of the season. So will be interesting to see what decks come in the final. That will be. I'm not sure if we're going to have a show next week because we've only got Wild to cover. So if we do have a show, if we do have a show, which we might not, but it will be interesting to see what comes in the new Wild meta and what gets brought to the THL Wild final. So very, very, very interesting. Rivo, did you have anything you wanted to throw in with a Wild focus there?
No, I haven't been playing much Wild, but hopefully I pray for you guys that the slight change to Rake affects the Druid, so that not only does Druid step back a bit along with Rogue, and then maybe by some person's imagination we see something other than the same 2 and 3 decks in every single lineup for the Wild final next week.
Alrighty, so that brings us to the end of the show. This probably is our last show for the season as well. So I'd like to thank my co-hosts Reverb and Oddlaw for being on the show with me this season. I've enjoyed the show very much, especially the way that we've been covering the Trios series. So yeah, thank you for the season. It's been great. I'd also like to wish every team that is playing in a final this week for THL season best of luck. Hopefully you enjoy your final, and hopefully half the teams win is what I'll say. I'm pretty confident half the teams will win this week, so yeah, best of luck if your team is in the final. And yeah, I've been in a final. I haven't won one yet. There's a few people out there that have won a few. So yeah, hopefully we get some first time winners along with a couple that we had in trios this season. Oddlaw, did you have any final comments before we go?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really awesome season. It's been really fun hanging out with you guys every week, and I think we've tried our best to keep our analysis succinct, unbiased, a little bit comedic, and I think with you two guys co-hosting by my side, it's been an absolute pleasure. So yeah, just cheers to everyone from Cyber.
Rivo.
Yeah, similar thoughts. Fantastic to have the all Aussie lineup again. It's been great having you hosted, and been great having Oddlaw as the other co-host, and I really like what we did with the trios as well. And I'm just very humble and glad that I am the inaugural trios analysis winner. I never had any doubts in my mind. It was always the one Amalgam band, and don't quote me if earlier on anything else I ever said they would lose. I just knew it.
Absolutely spot on. Perfect take. As always, Reverb, we appreciate your comments. I look forward to having Sidebar again next season. I'm not sure exactly what we'll cover. We'll work that out in the off season. Definitely be wild, and from there we'll see what else is coming around in THL next season. Until then, wish you all the best, and we'll see you next season.